Well, I guess I didn't bring it. I thought I did.
Oh,
But there's a bill in the legislature going before taxation to do with, I'm trying to remember what it was. I printed it off. I read it in the Maine, municipal little notebook
yeah.
we got. So I looked it up on the internet so I could get a copy of it. What the heck did that do?
it's probably
Oh,
related down.
it's. No, it's not the one with the. It's about this one. Anyway, I can't believe I don't have a copy of it here somewhere.
Bob, I got 6:31.
Yeah, you all set up.
Ready anytime. Can't find what I'm looking for, but that's okay.
Shall we salute the flag, please? And pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You can recognize Chief Town.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Tim, did you want to introduce
Absolutely.
this chap?
This is our newest full-time officer, Greg Seveny.
How you doing?
He started last Monday full-time. He was one of our part-timers, and we're very pleased to have him.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to have you on board, Greg. Yep, we're all set.
That's
Thank
good,
you.
'cause he's got to go to work.
He's getting back to work.
Yeah, we'd love to have him earn it. Nice meeting you.
Gonna drive you right out, huh?
Greg, take care. Yep.
Thank you.
I thought she was gonna spill it. I was gonna make a comment, but she didn't, so.
I'm a big girl.
Oh, okay. Tonight, we're gonna take a look at the budget for the town hall. And once we go through it, we will entertain any questions you might have or comments. Keith, do you have any particular items that you want to bring up at this point?
As I normally do, Selectman Creighton, I do have your correspondence for this meeting, if you wish for me to go over that.
Sure.
I can do that prior to you tackling that section of the budget. It's very light, but I can provide you some information on it. I don't see there's anything in here that needs your immediate attention or would require votes in the future from the board. Just a couple letters that came from Comcast. The first one was some price adjustment information that goes out to their customers here in Berwick, provides to them what changes there may be happening. And the other one from Comcast came in late this week, or late last week, excuse me, and just something to do with their Xfinity signature support services and what costs are associated with that. So those are here. Yearly, we get an analysis provided to us from the Seacoast Shipyard Association, which, as you know, we do provide some money as one of our social service agencies. We provide information or provide funding to. Just to let you know, there are 291 civilian employees working at the shipyard with an annual payroll of $21,748,634. Out of that, we're about, Berwick has about is the fifth highest out of all the communities that are supplying employees and payroll from the shipyard.
So we have 191 from Berwick?
291.
200. Oh.
Yep. And the payroll is almost $22 million. so. Newsletters that have come from State Representative O'Connor are in the packet, if you wish to look at them. Weekly, we get the legislative bulletin, which I think you folks do as well, because we're on that 2-week cycle. There are 2 here.
You'll find that the bill I was talking about, that's gonna be before taxation, I believe it's tomorrow.
It's part of, it was in the bulletin.
Well, yeah, you'll see it right
Okay.
down there, and I went online and checked it out.
Yep, taxation, an act to restore equity and revenue sharing. Is that
Yeah,
the one you were talking
that's
about?
it, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
And it's, you know, I think it's something we wanna keep our eye on, because it's gonna do evaluation and everything. So maybe it'd be in our favor.
Yep. Newsletter from Caring Unlimited, if you're interested. As I reported last week, our Benevolent Association has got a packet for a raffle on a kayak package that's being displayed over in the town hall, if anybody's interested. That information's there. A letter sent from U.S. Senator Collins, reference to some of the issues she's been dealing with at the federal level that impact Maine and its citizens. A letter from the New Hampshire Department of Transportation relative to the bridge that goes over the Salmon Falls right here that we're working on, giving us just an analysis of where the bridge is and if anything has changed structurally since the last time I reviewed it. Presently, it's in the same condition it was the last time. They do the review every 2-year cycle. A letter from the State of Maine Department of Labor congratulating the Berwick Fire Department again and Chief Plan on their Labor Shape Award. It's an award that's provided after analysis by the Department of Labor to show workplace safety and health of our employees. So that's the second time they've received that. Email sent to me from Kay Rand, who works for Bernston Shore Government Solutions and is hired by Central Maine Power as part of their advocates for the smart meter program. Just been continuing to keep us informed as to where we are in terms of smart meters being placed in Berwick. We're 98% installed at this point. Right now, they're getting their specialized meters in that will come in for their larger accounts, and it should be a matter of another month or so, and we should be 100% compliance.
Okay, now, Kay doesn't work for CMP?
No.
Oh, I see. In reading some of her letters, I thought she did, because she was a big lobbyist there for a long time in Augusta.
Letter sent to us from the Maine Department of Transportation outlining their light capital paving operations schedule for 2012. And again, our Rochester Street paving is on this. We have let them inform them all that with the light paving schedule, we also have the large drainage project that's going on there. So they need to be communicating with each other, so we're not putting pavement down that has to be ripped up later if the larger drainage project comes after.
You might want to bring that to the attention of Ron Collins. He lives in Wells. Do you ever see him? Because he's chairman of DOT, the Senate chair. And maybe he should bring up at a meeting, you guys pay attention to what you're doing and don't duplicate.
Well, we certainly have told all the engineers involved and the district managers, so they're well aware of the concerns that we're expressing to them.
If I see Ron, I'll mention it to him.
That's all I have for correspondence right now.
Thank you. Do you have anything you want to bring up? I don't know.
Not at this time. I may think of something.
Then I guess we take a look at the budget. I think there was copies of this.
There were copies that were provided, as you had requested of me, to provide to the candidates that are running for office. I've provided those copies, and the candidates that are here tonight have picked them up. We still have a couple left from candidates that are not here this evening. So that's as far as I've gone with it.
Okay, do you want to give us a rundown on that?
Yep, I can. Right now, the budget that you're looking at is the town hall budget. Last year, the budget reflected $123,600. This year, the request is $128,600. And if I may, I'll go right to where the change is. And then after that, I can go back and answer or review all of the line items if you so desire. But the substantial change in this will be under equipment maintenance, and it reflects a budget increase of $5,000 earmarked there. The equipment maintenance breaks down in several categories. And we have several computer programs and software packages that we presently have to have in order to carry out the functions of government. The first one that we have, which is a smaller one, which is $3,700 a year roughly, is our TRIO program. It takes care of all of our software for the town clerk's program, the motor vehicle program, the rapid renewal program for our internet customers, the networking fee, and the Red Book program. TRIO has been a company that has worked hand in hand with many Maine municipalities and have designed a lot of software programs that are user-friendly, and we just happen to have a portion of their package that they provide to us. Another one that we have, and it's $10,476 a year, is to two-way communications. Right now, we have a lease program with them where they supply us one server and 8 computers, and they're on a every 3-year cycle, and they're staggered, and they get replaced. The program covers maintenance, support, security, and any spyware, antivirus information or programs that we have to put on. We have found that this is far beneficial for us because we're getting newer equipment. It's part of a lease program, and it also comes with us the support, which is very important. And they've been very attentive to our needs. If we have an issue with the program or with the computers not working properly, they send somebody right over and tackle the issue for us.
Now, when they come in and change the computers, do they take the old ones out?
They do.
They do, good.
Because they're not owned by us, they're
Yeah, I
their
understand
ownership.
it, but I didn't know, maybe because, they're not worth much. What's it, 2 years old?
And the other one, which is a large chunk, is the one we have with Tyler Technologies, which is our Munis operating program. It's $34,232 a year, and what that includes is
You haven't got that listed on this information, have you?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
I do. There's another sheet. It should be behind all the
Oh,
sheets
it's
I
another
gave you.
sheet.
Keep going.
No, you're too far.
Explanation Town Hall. That must be it. Oh,
And-
here we are, TRIO, good.
Okay, you have all that information, so you can just add it to you. And then after tonight, if you have any other requests, we certainly can try to honor them for you. The Munis program provides a very secure off-site platform to take care of all of our financial needs. And the server that's dedicated to the town of Berwick is located in Falmouth, Maine. It is supported by that company. Any issues that we have are directly taken care of by the company at their site. And if any problems or concerns are exposed by a review of our accounting procedures down here, they're able to assist us and tackle all our programs. So this is a little new. I think it was last year, if if memory serves me correctly, that we began the off-site server with Munis up there. Prior to that, we always had Munis, but the server was located here, and what was happening is as the server got older, we had a large expense that we'd either have to expend here or enter in an agreement where they control the server and keep it updated and keep our programs running. Everything's backed up. They keep all of our stuff off-site, so it works pretty well for us.
But this has nothing to do with the tax bill itself. They don't print it or anything like that?
No, we print the bill here.
Okay, because what I was looking for, to be able to mail it once a year to save that mailing. With the two things on, I just wondered if that came in
Yeah.
this, that's all.
And
Thank
the
you.
thing that I didn't write down here, but the increase that we're seeing in the $5,000 is because the Munis folks had to rewrite the water department program. They're not supporting the old program that was up and running for a while. And as a result of that, there's $5,000 that needs to be earmarked to manage that.
Is that a one-time,
I don't know, is that a
Yeah.
one-time deal?
it's a one-time deal?
That includes all the training, software and training,
Until it changes.
yeah, until it's.
Which is,
That's usually the way of it.
So that gives you a flavor of the increase reflective in that budget at this time. The others, if I go right back to the top of it, is our custodial services. We have a contract with Tri-City Janitorial to do our town hall and meeting room cleaning, as well as they also provide to us additional services when we need them, window cleaning, floors, carpets cleaning, so on and so forth. The building supplies line takes care of all of our
just a minute here. On this custodial service, does that take care of all the things, the soap and paper towels and things like that? Or
No, we have to purchase
we
them. They come in and
purchase it.
strictly do the cleaning.
Did they just do the cleaning?
Yeah,
Okay.
cleaning, and they empty the trash
The
bins.
waste baskets, yeah, but it doesn't do any of the supplies.
No.
In that particular budget item, it appears that the actual is 6,400, and yet the proposed is 13,000.
Right, we're not through this fiscal year quite yet. So once, there's more monthly expenditures that will be earmarked to that, as well as at the end of the year, we usually try to get our carpets cleaned and our floors re-waxed and buffed. So there'll be more cost associated with that.
Now, does that take care of the hardwood floor up in the auditorium?
Yes.
I was just gonna say, we've got a month of bills that we haven't paid too, that don't show up. for-
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, it says actual instead of year-to-date. I think that's why it was confused.
Year-to-date is when the last warrant is,
Yeah,
paid
I-
the bills.
I understand that, but this says actual above it instead of year-to-date. See what I'm saying? That's why he thought it was,
Oh, I see.
you see, yeah.
Are you folks all set?
Yeah, I think so on that one.
Okay. Building supplies covers our
Yeah.
light bulbs and our bathroom paper products and cleaning supplies for the town hall.
If I'd read one sentence down, I'd have got that answer.
All right. And then we have an office supply line that takes care of all our computer paper and copy machine paper and any other,
The purchase of that is done universal with other towns? Is it a combined purchase?
well, we have several options that are available to us. One of them is what you described. We do provide information to the Greater Portland Council of Governments, which put a lot of this information out to bid. Those bids recently came in, and I provided them to the bookkeeper, so we have a copy of that information upstairs. And we also have the various options that we could go with We've been offered the opportunity to go with MSAD 60 in the terms of paper products and paper purchasing if we want to as well. So there are a variety of options, and what we generally do is we just make sure we shop that a little bit to see what's the best price, and then obviously we try to go with them. Right now, WB Mason is providing most of our paper products, copy paper and stuff like that.
So they deliver as needed, we don't have to store a large volume of paper.
Right, we store a handy amount. We go through a lot of paper in any given year, so you would always thought that with the electronic capabilities that we now have, that some of the paper would be going away, but that's not necessarily so. What happens now is that we back up everything that we send email with a paper.
But
have the
I
ability to
noticed,
copy it.
I noticed in paying my water bill, instead of getting a paper with a little corner up here, paper that long for a receipt, I'm just getting a little tiny one now, which I would assume would save some paper.
Yeah, and that was part of the update of the TRIO program
Oh,
that
that's what
we
that
now
was? Well, that
presently
was a good
have.
update because, yeah, it'll save a lot more space in my file cabinet too.
Next one is postage costs, and which covers any and all daily mailings, the warrants, tax notices, informational mailers, anything that we do. We do have a monthly, or we have a maintenance agreement with our with Pitney Bowes for our postage machine, so on and so forth. So.
Well, we're gonna be doing the water department, aren't we?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I've
can
got
do
some-
it, but as you know, it's not part of a warrant article. It's something that you review and make adjustments to, and then we use that as a,
I got a few things about, a few questions on that.
Sure.
When time comes.
Yep.
I won't ask them on here now.
then equipment purchases, any small business equipment, calculators, staplers, things like that, any software updates that we need that are outside any scope of any contracts that we have. And again, we're back to the equipment maintenance. And then down the end, we have the electric costs for this building, whatever our telephone costs are. We just got done negotiating a new telephone contract, which encompasses all of our services, including our cell phones. And I think we're going to see a significant savings that is going to play out on that. We did a
Well,
very good job on that.
the other day when I called, I wanted to talk to you, I forgot what it was about, but anyway, I dialed through and didn't get the menu of, extensions. And so I hit 0 and Melissa came on.
We're having issues with that.
I was gonna say, because usually, so I started to make a list of the extensions now, so I got it right there.
I'm gonna work on that again tomorrow.
Okay.
But generally, if we're not here, they'll come right up. I've called in several times and nobody's in the office and checked it. So I don't know what happened that day.
Well, they didn't come up, you used to get a menu of everybody's extension, and you could hit them, well, I didn't get it. So I said, I just hit 0, and Melissa came right on, and she turned me over to you.
Water and sewer costs are incorporated in. Those are real costs that we know we're gonna incorporate this year.
What do they charge you for sewer here? It's more than a single home?
No,
Oh, it's just a single home?
right.
Oh. That's not too bad then, although that's going up.
I went to a meeting with the sewer district, and something I suggested that is used in a lot of communities is a percentage of your water bill becomes your sewer bill. So if it's a single person in a single apartment, they'd pay a proportion. If it's, a family of 8, then whatever their usage would be
Yeah.
prorated.
A family of 8.
Many communities go 50%.
But I don't know of any here, around here does.
What do you mean?
I don't know of any community that does that.
Right across the bridge.
Well, that's New Hampshire.
You don't have to go that far.
Yeah, but that's New Hampshire.
I know, but it's not a bad town.
Well, it's got its problems.
Well, I think what Selectman Crichton is referring to is that he did attend a public hearing that was being held by the sewer district to outline to its customers a possible increase in some of their services or increase in the rate that they're charging. And I think what he's referring to is perhaps, as part of that rate discussion, it'd also be a discussion of maybe trying to do it a different way and use water consumption as part of their,
I know that.
I'm not sure if they're ready or
Well, I
prepared
know-
to do that.
I know, there's a few people spoke to me about it, they would like to do that, especially, they're all in my category, you know,
Well,
alone.
I'd rather not have that. I mean,
But, so, you know, they're all alone,
Yeah.
but, you
No,
know, to me, it doesn't make a big,
What
a
I
lot of difference.
suggested was to give a better perspective of the actual cost. If they would analyze the process of going, and I use 50% as a figure, you know, that percentage is based on their cost. But I felt it would be another method of a fee that might be different, it might be beneficial to the overall community. They would have to tie in their computer system, and they indicated to me it would be somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 to buy the proper software to tie into our water system to get the usage
Oh, yeah,
aspects of it,
yeah.
you know? And to me, that's, you know, it's a piece of change, but it's not an exorbitant figure. And if it's more equitable, I feel that it's worth looking at. I'm not saying that's
Oh,
what we
sure.
should institute or ask them to institute. We don't have any
It would be-
control over that, so
Once we
to
get a
speak.
full board, it'd be worth, when we meet with the sewer district, to bring it up and discuss it and have a debate over it.
If you were there, but you didn't show up,
No,
so
I know I didn't, my fault.
fell asleep.
Shut up.
You owned up to that, so I give you credit yeah, for that. But that's something,
I can get violent, you know.
not at your age, honey,
Oh, yes,
no.
I can.
And finally is the building maintenance line, which is general maintenance of the building, along with our underground tanks inspections, irrigation service, boiler cleaning inspection, maintenance agreement with our outside generator, and HVAC cleanup and startup costs that are associated with that. None of those have changed. The only change in that whole entire request is within that equipment maintenance piece, and it deals strictly with the $5,000 for the water program. That's all I have.
Well.
Do you have any questions, madam?
No, I think that's pretty straightforward, you know, what's here and what they had last year, and we can wait until we see how it's all playing out to make sure that there's either plenty of money to finish a year or too much to finish a year. So that looks fine to me.
Very good. We'll go on to the next piece of business. And this deals with a tentative, or I should say, a warrant listing
Well,
that,
hey, I do have one question. This is a town hall, is there maintenance on here? Yeah, it's building
Sure.
maintenance. Years ago, we took the interest from the Lena Clark fund and put it into every year we took it out and put it in the fund, and we kind of earmarked it, so if the furnace went, because that furnace has got a little age on it.
We
It's the
still,
original furnace when this was built in '38.
right, we still do that.
Oh, you do that, okay.
Yes, there's money there, and we've used it in the past to assist in some of the work that we've done here in the building. So there is money available. I don't recall what the audited amount is at this
No,
particular
well,
point.
I'll look and see, check that out later, but that's, you're still gonna account so that, because, you know, even back then, I think that was, what, 10 years ago? We we had a few problems with the furnace and had to have it fixed, and we decided probably we better plan.
We just spent some money on the furnace.
Yeah, well,
In order to keep it running, and had to put some new mechanical protection on it, so on and so forth, so.
okay, but
It is a
if
concern.
it does happen to go, there is some money there to,
Yeah.
because I would imagine that would be a very costly furnace to do the building inside.
Right, part of the things that we also had done, if you recall, a year or so ago, we applied for and received a $10,000 energy assessment grant. There are reports that have been generated on each one of our buildings, including this town hall, providing where the independent energy auditor came in, did analysis of this building, and provided cost estimates, payback estimates on different pieces of that. I do have that information available to you if you wish to take a look at it. It was very informative, and it will provide you a sort of a blueprint as to what can and cannot be done with the finances that we may presently have to be a little more energy efficient here at the
Well, you
building.
did put in new windows.
It's done before my time.
Yeah, well, we did, I should say. That was back I was there. We did put in new windows, and I think we did quite a bit to make it more efficient as much as we could.
All set?
Thank you.
I think in this case, Keith has drawn up just a tentative thing, but at least it gives something to look at. And for the new board members, obviously, it would give them an insight as to basically what we are looking at. And he's listed 40 different articles.
Yeah, if I may, I'd like to focus your attention on Articles 3, 4, and 5, and I'll just go over them. The first one I put down there as a proposal was Article 3, an ordinance entitled Disbursement Warrant Ordinance. And what I'm trying to gauge here, and I've given you a draft that is part of your packet, and it pretty well outlines the purpose of this warrant article. And what we're trying to achieve is, as you recall, is the circumstances that we're presently under, with a recall of 3 of our elected officials leaves us with the lack of a quorum. Before we lost our 3, we did provide, by state statute, we could enact 3 policies to pay wages and benefits, education costs, and state fees, which you all agreed to do. This warrant would take it one step further in that we could pay our disbursement warrants on approval by authority that's granted through this ordinance, and one of you or 2 of you could sign those disbursement warrants in order for us to pay those bills. So we wouldn't be up against what we are right now with some of our outstanding bills that are being held until we have a full board.
Okay, now this is something like the one in Buxton?
Yes,
Yeah, because
It's-
they, remember I had said about.
Correct.
And they had an
right.
ordinance on that.
The town of Buxton went through similar to what we did here, and initially, I think they were looking to enact an ordinance without, to enact an ordinance that was developed without general review and approval by the townspeople. They rejected that and put together this type of ordinance. I've modified it just slightly to take into the fact that they were talking about a 3-member board where we have a 5-member board. And then they outlined what the emergencies would be and how they would be defined. So something that you and your 3 new colleagues can discuss. All the candidates that are running do have a copy of it, so they can take a look at it. And as you know, that 42-day time period that we have to finalize the budget and the warrants will be right up against it.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to hit the ground running as quickly as possible. So that's why I've taken the liberty to put it together so we can have further discussion on it when it's appropriate. The other one, and the next one is Article 4, to vote on the following referendum question, an ordinance entitled the Town of Berwick Mass Gathering Ordinance. And The reason I place it there, even though the town hasn't taken action, is that several years ago, we didn't get to a point where we had the mass gathering ordinance receive any traction. Before Selectman Murphy became a selectwoman, she took it upon her initiative to begin the process of developing an ordinance that may pass townspeople's approval this next time. And I think what you did here is
It's very modified.
yeah, you modified it considerably, narrowed it down to mass outdoor gatherings and special events that are going to be 2 days or more. And also, you narrowed it down to commercial enterprises. And other than that, I looked at it, it seems to be straightforward, and it may be something that the people may want to vote for
We
if it
went
gets
to
passed.
the planning board, and they helped us do that. And they voted it out of the planning board. So, it was, they were very helpful.
Well, it's an article that could be put forth for the public to,
Yeah, because
vote on.
actually, I mean, someone could come in here and they don't even have to come stop by the town hall if they don't want to.
That's correct.
Or the police department or anything, and this one does, or the fire department. And we didn't have problems, but we very well could have, but I guess the last one they had, there was a little funny stuff going on, Up in a
now
way.
easy.
But I think the ordinance that you've initiated here provides a lot of protection. It gives us oversight through our public safety folks and provides some authority there. So I think it may be something that will catch some
Well,
traction
we're
this
gonna
year.
try to really kind of promote it.
And finally, you've been kicking around this, the thought of having a budget committee. So what I did with Article 5 is an ordinance entitled Town of Berwick Budget Committee Ordinance. And I provided a draft copy for you to look at. Just a couple things. This one is a little bit different than what you guys had been. Again, it's a draft, and it can be modified whatever fits the needs of this community. But I took the initiative to limit it to 5 members within the proposal I provided to you, as well as earmarking that the committee will be a standing committee agreed to by the town, but it will be appointed by the board instead of being elected. And the only reason I came up with that feeling is that I think there needs to be a distinction between the elected municipal officials of this community and any other board or committee that's appointed, or I think there has to be, the statute of the selectmen needs to be all-encompassing in my view, and they should be above and the only elected people. However, that's a decision that this community will make through your guidance and leadership.
Some of the towns that have one nearby, are they elected or appointed?
I think it varies. It varies on what fits the needs of the community.
I was trying to think, now York has a charter, but they do have a budget committee.
Yes, they do.
And I'm not really sure which it is down there.
I don't recall.
And I should remember, but I don't. It's elected? Yeah.
Right.
I kind of think York is, but I'm not sure.
What
have a friend
what I did provide here, and one of the other distinctions that you have to be cognizant of, and we talked about it at one of your last meetings, is that if there's an ordinance enacted, or if there's any town action on this, other than the Board of Selectmen appointing a committee, which you have broad discretion to do, if it's a budget committee, their recommendations have to also appear on any warrant that has dollars that are appointed. Whether they're elected or appointed by you, their recommendations will also appear on the warrant. So
Even appointed board.
That is
they have-
correct.
And yeah, and I don't think that's a bad idea.
well, it may or may not be a bad idea, but it's the law. That's
Yeah.
what the statute tells us to do. So a lot of things for you to think about, and also a lot for the new elected officials to think about. But those 3 right there are ordinance enactments that will take a bunch of discussion from you all. And as you begin any changes or modifications, we're ready to,
The only
accommodate that.
thing with an appointed board, I think that the Board of Selectmen has more control over it if they appoint it like, and I'm not sure that's what I want, or what I'm looking forward to. I want it to be very independent.
well, there's a variety of ways you can look at that. The makeup of the Board of Selectmen changes through elections. The makeup of the Budget Committee, there'll be staggered 3-year terms, so there'll be the ability of new elected officials to appoint different members onto the Budget Committee, and so I think there'll be a free moving of citizens in and out of these committees if in fact the board approves it.
Why did you suggest only 5?
5, an odd number,
Yeah, it's
not,
gotta be an odd number, but
not so large as that it bogs down the process of reviewing and getting some decisions made on budgets. I've dealt with budget committees that are up to 13 members, and it's a daunting task to try to keep everything
I'm trying to
focused.
remember what the county is,
So,
the county budget committee. I should remember, I was one that helped draft it.
I don't know, personally, I
I think
think
so, was it?
an
Any-
elected budget committee of 9 people is more appropriate. That way you put on 3 each year, and then you end up with that mix that Keith is talking about, you know, because there'll be 3 elected each year.
Well, you know, that,
I'm not really concerned if the budget committee recommendation has to go on the warrant, because in my mind, and there's a piece missing here, I think that the budget committee and the Board of Selectmen should meet to finalize their recommendations, so that there's input from the board as well as the budget committee, and that gives some give and take to try to balance out any radical kind of situation. And in doing that, there needs to be, in my mind, some method of authority that the selectmen would have a legal vote in making the recommendation to go on the warrant.
pass that by me again?
Well,
A legal vote for what? You got a legal vote anyway.
listen carefully.
Okay,
If you had 9 members
yeah.
and you have 5 selectmen, you end up with 14 people. A budget comes up to support the cemetery for $1,000. The selectmen feel it can be done for $750. There's a place there for negotiation, and I think I believe in the budget committee, because I think it's a valid method of establishing an honest budget. However, when push comes to shove, the selectmen are responsible for the total budget. The budget committee isn't going to have to take the flak at that point. So the recommendation, I think, should be finalized prior to going on to the warrant. So it'd be one single recommendation. Budget committee, selectmen recommend.
Okay, instead of
You
having.
follow me?
Yeah, instead of having, selectmen 4-1, budget committee, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, recommend, no.
You know.
Yeah, yes, I understand that now.
I just think it would be a smoother
But I'm not sure that
operation.
would pass state law, would it?
The state law doesn't say that they need to be distinct from each other, but the budget committee must make a recommendation. If that recommendation is going to be the same as the selectmen's, then I think you could encompass it into one as a note that the budget committee selectmen recommend
Yeah.
this
The
warrant
selectmen
article.
concur with the budget committee,
Committee or
period.
whatever,
It's that simple.
But if there's a distinction, if there's a difference,
It has to be
it
separate.
has to be separate and it has to be recognized as
Yeah.
being separate.
That's one thing that I think it ought to be 9 members personally.
Well, if you
And I
remember,
think
if
I'll
you
be
remember,
elected.
when we was at that class at the state, Jim Bennett said 7 to 9, because I asked
Yeah.
him about 11. He said he thought it was a
That's
little too
a little
much.
too many.
Too
yeah.
many, and that, he thought that 7 to 9,
But
he
you know,
said.
a good chairman of a budget committee would, I would assume, would break the committee down into specific groups covering
Yeah, so-
specific
yeah.
areas. And then bring that information back to a joint meeting of the budget committee, and then,
I think Andrea said that's what Lebanon did, and I thought
yeah,
that
I
sounded
think,
like
to
a
me,
good
it
idea.
would make sense to go that route. But,
Well, there are seven authority and duties that are outlined within this provision that I've provided to you tonight.
Okay.
And the changes that you're talking about, 9 members, if you want them elected, they certainly can be elected. I just think it provides a whole different dynamic as to the review and the authority over the warrant in the budget. That's only my opinion.
but the other thing that I think should be added is that prior to going on to the warrant, the selectmen and the budget committee have the number of meetings to decide what they would like to see on the warrant.
Yeah, the ordinance, the way it's written, it says, hold joint meetings with the Board of Selectmen to review and discuss budget proposals. The budget committees, all their meetings will be open to the public, so
Yeah.
any discussions they'll have will be there. We can certainly tune this to meet
Yeah.
the needs of you folks in the community.
That's fine with me. I think this is something that the new selectmen will have to weigh in on as
Yeah,
well.
we have a good debate on it, right, and give us time to think about it.
And that's precisely why I provided these draft documents to everybody, so that
It's a good idea.
they'll come in weighing in on that and decide what you wish to
They
do.
can ask some questions out there to the public and get some opinions before they're even elected, for that matter, if they choose to.
Sure. Anything else?
That's all I have this evening. I wanted to make sure that we got those on, and then the remainder of the warrant is just boilerplate at this point. There are really no secured numbers, and if you look at it, there's only a few places where numbers even appear. The rest of it's open and will be filled in after votes and review by the board.
And this here explains all the budget committee and everything. This is the
Yes.
backup on it, good.
Yep, and it's in draft form. Matter of fact, based on your talks tonight, I will do another draft and put 9 members and have it elected. And then you guys can discuss that
Right.
agreement.
Well, nothing is cast in stone
No,
at
you
this
might,
point
you
either,
might
you
wanna
know?
wait, you might wanna wait until we get a full board and.
That's fine.
And those members may think 5's fine, you never know. And maybe some of them have worked with boards that are, I mean, I've never worked with a board that's got 9 members, that's just a number I kinda thought sounded good.
Excuse me.
At this point, there's no other items. Do you have anything that you want to bring up?
No, I do have something I wanna bring up. I was a little upset after our meeting last Tuesday and got thinking about it. And you know, we used to have a policy here that when someone made a complaint against anything, they had to do it in writing and sign their name. And you know, and it didn't seem to cause any problems.
Yeah, I don't
And I don't know
believe
when
that's
that
in the
policy changed.
Packet. I think that's something we'd have to.
Yeah, I don't know when it changed either. It's never been in
I've never seen
existence
it,
since
you
I've
know.
been here.
Well, it was.
But that's a good point.
Yeah, in fact, I sat and thought about it, and I thought, well, you know, maybe my memory's going, so I talked to a member of who was on the board with me at the time, and I said, I'm thinking, right, we did have that policy, and he said, yes, we did.
And that doesn't mean it can't be reinstituted
No, it's what
either.
I'm saying, I think it saves a lot of picky-uni complaining. You know, at least we didn't seem to have any problems with it, I'll put it that way.
Well, it's
and that-
certainly something, that policies,
That was back in, you know, the late 90s and early 2000.
the policy book that we have still needs to be updated
We
considerably.
certainly do have to go
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah, so that's
But,
an
but,
issue.
but I just thought I'd throw out that policy, think about it and see, because, you know.
At this point, is anybody in the on, excuse
I
me,
just don't want another thing that would happen last week.
yes, ma'am. Anybody in the audience care to speak?
Yeah. Jim, go ahead. I agree with Eleanor.
Oh, good.
We have but don't have any choice, she's a lady. Complaints. I saw the other night here a dispute from this place to that one right there, Mr. Keith, and it got a little heated. Now, if that complaint would have been registered and signed by me, then we'd have known who to talk to.
That's right.
I agree with you, Eleanor. That's all I got. I would also like to get together with all of us people running for selectmen and get to meet you, know you better. Thank you.
Are you sure they're interested in meeting you?
I don't give them any choice.
Anyone else care? Yes, ma'am.
Louisa Sheldon from Sullivan Street. I don't know if you can address this tonight, but I really only have a couple of questions, and it's regarding, I'm gonna bring up the B word. I'm looking back on minutes and selectmen's meetings from the last couple of years, and back in 2010, right around February 2 years ago, Bateman had addressed the planning board, and I have to wonder if the selectmen are still involved, that there was proposal that Bateman had been hired by the company that owns the prime property to begin a process of looking into a redevelopment of the prime site. And it had alluded to that was going to be a larger plan, sometimes called a master development plan, and he had said that one of the steps of that would become a memorandum of understanding between the town and prime. So I want to know if anything is going on with that today, is anything in the works or in limbo to do with Bateman and any plans future downtown related to prime or anything in this vicinity.
As I remember that, wasn't that, and I was at that meeting that she's talking about too, because I wasn't on the board, but it was at the planning board meeting, but wasn't Bateman saying that he had talked to Prime about getting that ready to put on the market? Wasn't that what he, trying to come up with some ideas to sell it?
No, I think what Ms. Sheldon is talking about is pretty accurate. The owner of the property, or at that time it was Meriturn Corporation, was looking at various options for their large site. And ironically, their attorneys, the attorneys for both Bateman Partners Limited Partnership and Meriturn were the same attorney, and they put them together to discuss about a joint hiring Bateman to assist the owner to do a master development plan of the site.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I don't know if that's ever been etched in, or they've come to any formal agreement, but that was several years back, and they were discussing that partnership.
2 years back.
Okay.
According to these minutes.
Okay.
So nothing is going on with that now?
I don't know if the owner of the property has hired them to do anything at this particular point. I'm not privy to that information right now.
Okay, but right now, the prime tannery slot is, I see it's listed with the Southern Maine Regional Planning Commission. You have like a marketing sheet or something which makes it available to prospective buyers and renovation and stuff. Is that where it stands right now? It's kind of like on the open market, and we don't have anything going on with any developers or any potential ideas floating around about
They have not
prime?
approached us for a partnership at this point, nor have they asked us for our opinions.
I'm sorry, do you mean Bateman or Prime?
I'm talking
or-
about the owner of the property.
Okay.
Yep.
Who exactly is it right now? Because I couldn't really find out who owns it at this moment.
Company is Friends of Jupiter.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Friends of Jupiter?
Yes.
Okay.
That's been a fairly recent development in the sense that they had evidently loaned or was indebted or in some financial matter, and
This
they are
Friends
now.
of Jupiter, you mean?
Yes, and now they're taking the property back,
Okay.
so.
Is it out of receivership yet?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure. I
I
haven't
don't
received
believe
any official notice yet.
Is Prime, the other question I have actually, is Prime, is it considered a Superfund site with the toxic issues that it has?
I don't think so.
I don't believe it
It's
reaches.
not classified
Reaches a
as one.
Superfund site, no. I know that there's been a Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental assessments
Yeah.
done. They've identified areas of cleanup concerns. They've got a general cost estimate for those cleanups, but that's as far as it's gone at this point. So they have knowledge of what's there and what needs to be cleaned up, so potential buyers or potential developers will have a clear understanding of what they may have to deal with.
They
Okay,
may have some surprises
They may.
once they get in there.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else care to speak? Yeah,
Derek White, Old Sanford Road. Earlier you mentioned you received an assessment on the bridge between the two towns of Somersworth and Berwick, and it was in the same state in which it was 2 years ago. Just recently hearing that Somersworth is actually within their council discussions in terms of upgrades to the bridge. I wasn't sure where we stand on our side as far as supporting that effort.
Right, there, a very good question. There has been a couple public meetings. There was a public meeting that was held here to, where MDOT and New Hampshire DOT got together. And right now, there is a effort to do a redecking of the bridge, and that's going to be moving forward. But part of the other piece of that was that the city of Somersworth was able to get some urban planning or downtown planning enhancement money, and they wish to entertain decorative lighting and railing systems as part of the decking project. And that federal money would be used to do those enhancements. The previous board indicated to the state and the city officials from Somersworth that there would be no money coming from Berwick to do any enhancements to the lighting or railing. And if Somersworth wished to extend that money to that, we were agreeable to that. And that's as far as it's gone. So those meetings have taken place. I know that they're working to get their schedules together and to figure out what they're going to do with the railroad and how they're going to manage the deck project and so on and so forth. So I'm not quite sure if they're going to have another public meeting.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they
are.
are.
In Somersworth, they're gonna have it.
It'll
They
be
asked
in
to have it.
June.
Yeah,
Okay.
in June. But
Yeah.
actually, the one they had here, it was very informative. And Somersworth has $500,000 that they got from the federal government for aesthetics, and they want to put it into the railings, and they showed us different type of railings. And the group that was here that night was, Louisa was here. It was mostly Somersworth people. It was a city manager and part of their council and planning director and everything. And they almost kind of selected one that we all liked, I guess, at that time. But
Well, they
it was
took a straw poll
Yeah, they
as
took
what
but it
what
was-
would be appropriate for their.
It really will be a big enhancement of entering both states. I think most of us were very pleased and happy with it.
One of the things that was brought out pretty clear too was the fact that there'll be full sidewalks on both sides of the
Yeah.
bridge. And that has already been incorporated in their planning, so that's encouraging to see that, because that's, well, actually, it's a bumper guard on the north side of the bridge, or the upside of the bridge, so you don't hit the rail if you get over too close. Your tires are going to run against the curbing. So that is taking place. There will be a meeting mid-June. I can't tell you the exact date. I don't believe the exact date has been set, but it'll be held in the Somersworth City Council chambers. Yep. And we'll be notifying.
And they had the designer, what would you, I know what you call him, a designer, a bridge designer.
Engineer.
No, Greg Goodrich.
Yeah, he's
Or he's
an
an
engineer.
engineer, anyway. He was here, and he's actually a Berwick boy. His father and grandfather ran Goodrich Insurance.
Yep.
So, but he lives in Manchester. Actually, he didn't really grow up here, but his father did. So, and
Any other questions?
comes from an old Berwick family.
Good a time as any. Yes, ma'am.
Keith mentioned a communication from Comcast. Every time I ask Comcast a question about what channels we receive, they say, if you have any input on what channels you want, that goes through your Board of Selectmen.
Oh,
Are there any changes in channels proposed in what you sent?
No, there are not.
They send out, I believe everybody in town got that has Comcast, got a notification of various packages. Some of them were pretty steep. They were talking 134 channels and this sort of thing, and it was, boy, I wouldn't want to quote exactly, but it seems it was around $34, $35 more per month for those additionals.
is there any particular channel you would like to see?
I think the ones that we like are presently on.
But you do bring up an interesting,
Asking about history and Fox Business, the National Geographic channels.
you do bring up an interesting point. If there are, and we do have a lot of people that exercise their complaint issues with Comcast, and they can direct those to the town manager. We do have a liaison, a government affairs liaison, directly with Comcast that I can give those complaints to. And unless I'm hearing differently, they've been pretty receptive of at least answering the folks. They may not be receptive of changing their policies or what they're providing, but they're at least having that conversation. So,
Anything else, folks? I wish to thank you for coming, and we'll adjourn at this point.